seen each other, so I thought I would have a little cup of tea and a chat today for a few minutes. Let's talk about waiting time. I don't know about you, but my kids are a little bit older now. They're both teenagers. And so I've noticed that I've moved into a new stage of parenting, and that is taxi driving. So lots of dropping off, lots of parking, lots of waiting. I also do a little bit more work outside the home now for private clients, and that involves driving places and doing a lot of waiting while I'm waiting for meetings to start and that sort of thing. And I've also hit that errands kind of level where you're doing a lot of running around for errands, but there's a lot of waiting time. So you might be waiting in a waiting room or in line at the post office, or just that kind of thing. So I've been thinking lately about how to use that waiting time so that it's either really productive or really enjoyable, instead of just going through the motions and having that time pass either way. Sorry, I've got this weird thing going on with my hair where like one bit is sticking out, so I keep focusing on it, but we'll try and let that go. Anyway, so if you are in the taxi stage of parenting, I thought maybe you might be in the same boat as me. So yeah, I think when the kids are older, life is amazing anyway, but it does get a little bit easier when you are not in the trenches of baby and toddler years anymore. So when you have tweens and teens, things are different. People don't need me for every little thing anymore. We get to just have quality time together. But then life gets in the way too. You've got to do drop-offs and pickups, and there's lots of buffer time is really what I'm getting at. So I'm going to share with you what I do with my buffer time at the moment, with my waiting time, in case you find it helpful. And I would love to know what you do as well. So the first thing I do is, if I have my laptop with me, then I get little snippets of work done in waiting time. So I run Beautifully Organised, and I also run the Simpler Business podcast. And so there's always something that can be done in terms of social media posts, or something to do with updating online courses, or doing podcast episodes, or writing emails. There's always a little something that can be done. So I have this thing that I do now where I take my big tote bag. This thing has been with me for years. I love it so much. It's huge. And I have, oh gosh, it's so messy inside, but I have one of those Amazon organizers inside. So this bag can now hold my laptop. I call it my bag in an office. I guess I could call it Boffice, but that doesn't really work. But yeah, it holds my laptop. It holds my microphone. It holds my little bag full of all of my cords. I always have my phone on me as well. And so what I can do is, if I'm waiting in the car and I'm waiting to pick up one of the kids, or I'm waiting for them to finish an activity, then I'll get out of my front seat and I'll sit in the back seat, and I'll open up my laptop and I'll set everything up, and I'll hotspot from my phone, and I'll get things done. I'll either write emails, I'll get batching work done. I'll write emails, I'll write social posts, I'll write podcast episode outlines, or sometimes I'll even grab my microphone and record the podcast in the car, which you'd think would be full of like traffic noises and stuff like that, but with the microphone it cuts out all of the outside noise, so it turns out pretty nice. So yes, office in a bag is my first tip for waiting time, especially if you're waiting while somebody's playing soccer or doing soccer training, or you're waiting for a ballet lesson to finish. Things where you don't quite have enough time to go home, but you have more time than just, a couple of minutes here and there. And I think that's kind of one of the ways that I feel like I don't work all the time, because I do little snippets in waiting time, and then I have more downtime later because the things I needed to get done are done. So that works really, really well. If I don't have my laptop with me, which is rare to be honest, because I love working from cafes and libraries and parks and things like that, so I by default I take it with me. But if I'm caught out and about and I don't have it, I always have my phone. So the things that I do for waiting time, then I usually I'll go through and look at my digital calendar, and I'll kind of organize work that I want to do for the week ahead, or plan in personal tasks or errands and things like that. Just basically get organized and get familiar with what's coming up over the next couple of weeks. Other things that I'll do is I'll go through my photos on my phone and just delete all the random photos that accumulate. I have so many random things. I go for a walk every morning and I take a photo kind of to prove to myself that I went for the walk. And so I have like heaps and heaps of photos of just scenery that I'm never going to use for anything else. So I delete those, or I delete random selfies or recordings of videos like the one that we're making now. A lot of the time they record to your phone and they use up so much space and you forget that the video is there. So I go through and I select and delete all of those. So there's the calendar, there's the photos. Other things that I do in waiting time, before I was getting my nails done, I would always have a little nail pack in my bag as well. And I would treat that as a little self-care moment. So I would have a really nice, hang on, what have I got? A really nice hand cream. It's my everyday bag. It's very cute. I love it. It's Oroton. I got it at an op shop, thrift store, after lunch one day, and it's become my favorite daily bag since then. This is the hand cream that I use. And before, when I was doing my own nails, I get them done once a month now, but when I was doing my own nails, waiting time was for that as well. I would have a little nail kit and do it in my car. Even now, I'm like, okay, I should take this moment to put on some hand cream and just have a little luxury moment to myself. And then, you know, there's the usual ones, like you can take a magazine. Oh, magazines to me now feel so luxurious. It's, you know, I take a book if you want to as well. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm doing waiting in the car or waiting at a cafe, just kind of passing half an hour or 20 minutes, and I take a little book and I read a couple of chapters and I love it. But there is something about taking a Vogue magazine or a Marie Claire and just leafing through it leisurely, like you've got all the time in the world, that makes you feel like your life is just kind of up-leveled a little bit. So you're not just being taxi mum, but you're being like woman of the world that has time to herself. I know that's a little bit cringy, but you know, that's what I do. Other things that I can do if I've got my phone but not my laptop is I'll go through and look at my emails and unsubscribe from the emails that I keep deleting but not opening and reading, so that helps a lot. I also like to plan out my meal plan, although I used to do that a lot more than I do now because my husband does more cooking at the moment. So he does a lot of the planning too, so delegate works as well. But yeah, meal planning works really well. If you don't like meal planning though, you don't have to do it. I have a free resource which is 31 days of meal ideas, and it has a link to a recipe for the meals as well. So if you want that, let me know and I'll put a link in the description so you can go ahead and get that. And then you never have to plan dinner again if you don't want to, because there's 31 days of ideas. So no matter what month it is, there's something for dinner every night. So yeah, I like that little hack as well. Phone call catch-ups, that's what I do in waiting time as well. If I've got 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, you know how some friends, you just do a quick catch-up, a couple of minutes on the phone, or a check-in call. I might want to call one of my parents and see what they're up to, you know, or I might need to return a bunch of text messages, sometimes even just returning emails. I'll do that on my phone as well. And then, yeah, so that's what I do with waiting time. And the next one is my favorite, and I've left it to last to tell you, and it makes such a big impact on your life. So I do this personal development course that's all about abundance and manifestation. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. It's really, really good. And I've learnt so much stuff through the course and through other resources, books and shows and things like that. And I have found that when it comes to doing things like wanting to put myself in a positive state, or wanting to manifest something, or wanting to get myself into a bit of a state of abundance, meditation is the key. It helps a lot. I'm very bad at doing it by myself. So when I have waiting time, I go on YouTube, I look up a guided meditation, or I go into the course I'm doing and I look up a guided meditation, and I do that meditation just while I'm sitting in the car. Just close my eyes, have a listen. Immediately my day is more positive. So yeah, those are the things that I use waiting time for. I hope that you found them helpful. It's been nice to get back on and have a little chat with you all, because it's been so long since I haven't disappeared completely. I've been doing a lot of content over on the Simpler Business podcast. So if you want to check in more, head over there. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or just go to marissaroberts.com and you'll get a link to it there. So I am online all the time, but I haven't been online for Beautifully Organised for a while, and I miss everybody. So hopefully I get to see you again soon. Feel free to let me know in the comments what your waiting time ideas are. How do you pass the time when you're running errands and you've got to wait for a few minutes, or you've got to wait in the car for your kids? And yeah, let me know what works for you, and I'll see you next time.